Uh-oh. What's going on? Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. Oh, yeah, what's going on? Sorry. Oh, man. Yeah, my mic was off. I forgot to switch the input. You kind of cut off for like a little bit. Alrighty.
Fight is definitely more important than the filler episodes after the pain arc. However, this does further the agenda that the pain arc is good. It's not even the pain arc.
Well, Conway, do you not know the blatant contradiction you just said?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Never mind, you did say this.
It's not, I mean, first of all, it's not even the pain arc.
Yeah. After the pain.
But he called it the pain arc filler episodes, which is why.
Well, technically, he said some of the filler episodes after the pain arc, so even then.
Oh, okay. If you said after, then yeah, never mind. But I thought you just said in.
Maybe Discord cut it off.
Maybe.
Well,
But anyway.
that being said, Immortal, let us know when you're good.
I'm already good. I'm already streaming.
Okay. As soon as we start stream, I want to say it live just so the fans are on the same page as us, but I have a intro announcement disclaimer, mostly for Immortal, but anyone else who's listening as well.
What?
Udi, you will be fully on board, obviously.
Okay, I don't know how to get back to my. I'll be honest, I don't remember how to get back to my thing. But it probably should be fine if I just start stage. I think you turned me down because of the movie, or up, or whatever it was the other night. Anyway, it's just for Immortal's sake. I'll press start stream and hope it works. Okay, so now we find out if that did work or not. But I'm sure we'll find out in just a second. And Immortal, I can confirm you at least are live, so there's that. Yep, I could even hear me on it.
That's good.
Even your face cam's even working, as dark as it is.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get a light. Just
Okay.
not right.
You're live face camming this one, Immortal?
I mean, yeah.
Do you usually do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's just randomly doing it for the first time.
Okay, I'm dropping frames.
I was like, oh,
crazy.
what inspired it today? That's what I was going to say.
Okay, let me pause this stream because I'm losing frames like crazy.
There. Okay, I've confirmed we're live. And I think it's all working. Darshikage, I feel really bad because of the community poll asking who our top #1 fan is. And shout out Space, he's winning at #1 right now, and Space knows it because he called himself out.
I wanted to include Darashikage on that. Did he? Or...
Yeah. Trust me, he knows because he sent the cry emoji and the broken heart emoji.
Well, see, that's why I was annoyed that it took away the 5th option, because that would have solved the issue.
Like, I literally done exactly that.
I wanted to put him on there.
Yeah. Well, at least he knows. Okay. Well,
Clickbait, rage bait.
With that being said, there was or the intro topics, right?
Well, sure, but I just in terms of this context, can you just elaborate on how
I'll be honest. I just got way more giddy at the notion of this just being an intro topic for all guests from now on with no context, more so than this situation right here.
Okay, because I was confused.
But back to the more boring option of this topic. So, Conway, you do realize setting up stage is part of setting up, right?
And, well, yeah, and so, for you to set up. Like, I don't need to set up stage if you set up stage.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm glad. Okay, glad we're on the same page here, because the way your message, the way I read it, regardless of what you typed, what went into my brain was, "Dear Udi, my friend, who is busy setting up, let me know when you start your stage so that I will join the stage of which you will be the one to start."
So, what I was saying is, let me know when you start stage, because, no, obviously some of this context only would make sense for what I was doing, but I was charging my laptop upstairs. My microphone stuff's downstairs. So, when you start stage, I was going to join immediately with my headphones, walk downstairs, switch to the other mic, and get on the treadmill. That's the quote-unquote setup part that is slashed with the join.
I was curious about that. But it was pretty much clearly indicated that your setup takes less time than mine. So just like economically wise, it would only make sense if you were going to start saying. Well, like I feel like it got lost in translation at some point that you just don't have stage starting abilities, or that I own the stage or something. I don't know when this got cemented in your mind, but
because when I start stage, I'm just silently in stage for several minutes before you join. Whereas if it's the other way around, I usually join immediately, as well as, you know, people like Immortal or Space or whoever might be in the audience. So it would have just been me walking on the treadmill silently for 5 minutes, not looking at the screen until you join. Which, in terms of the Discord viewers' perspective, they're going to join and leave when they realize it's nonsense, whereas it's the other way around. It's clearly like a podcasting thing, so they might stay. So it just makes more sense to have you start the stage.
Give it to you. Okay. And speaking of the Discord viewers' perspective, so for those that didn't know, we have a Discord where we do this all. And in case you aren't in it, here in the chat is pinned, so now you can join. Of which, so you can view the Discord viewing experience before and after we start stream, of which there's a lot of activity in there that is off of stream strictly. So there you go.
Yeah. So do it.
Immortal viewers, join his Discord if he has.
Well,
Immortal, what is so funny?
Well, I have a Discord, but I don't think it's ready just yet.
Alright.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What makes you
I'm working
say
on
that?
it. I want to do something creative for my Discord. Like probably like add like tiers or something.
Oh yeah. Well, we think you can do it. Speaking of Immortal, I have a completely non-segueable segue to our disclaimer. Okay, so Immortal. Knowing you, I'm sure you've already read all the text spoilers. You know exactly what's going to happen in this chapter. So here's the disclaimer. Udi and I haven't, and we refuse to get confirmation on anything. However, we are going to talk about the thing we might know might happen in this chapter that we hope is not true, and we're going to discuss it. We want you to only speak under the hypothetical of if it's true from our perspective. Do not at any point confirm anything that happens in this chapter.
Well,
Yeah,
I can't
even don't know.
I can't really confirm anything until the actual chapter releases. So you guys are good. Anything I say,
Don't reference a text spoiler.
Yeah.
Assume
In fact,
you're like us and you don't know if it's a text spoiler.
In fact, I would say if you were to do something like that, only do it coincidentally under the hypothetical that it's something you would have thought of on your own before having seen the text spoilers, assuming you're going to say it as like a theory or something.
Yes.
I could. Gotcha.
Okay. This
All
goes
right,
to you guys in the comments as well. Do not comment what you saw in the spoilers. Only comment on the hypothetical what if you saw it.
Yeah. So we're just gonna be playing guessing games all day.
Yeah.
So speaking of spoilers, yeah.
So just get into it.
Well, I do want to do a little bit of the prelude that we were saying yesterday. I don't know about just like going back to read the messages that we said verbatim to each other yesterday. Though they were kind of funny. Should I just do that?
Yes, let's do it. Okay, I'll put up on my phone so we can. I don't know how far up we have to go.
Yeah. And Ace will be here in a minute. Okay, so I'll just control F spoiler. And yeah, that's probably good.
Did anyone ever leak the text spoilers in the Boruto spoiler chat?
Well,
I forgot.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot another sneak peek came out.
Spoilers.
Anyway, so I have the messages here, Gongwei.
Okay,
so
starts with start with. I mean, if you were gonna do that, start there.
Yeah. So I say, I mean, if you were going to do that, I'd definitely do it when there is a lot of hype in the community going into the chapter. And this is reference to whether Tommy wants to live react on his channel or on our channel, the Walky Dog John's or just on his own. In that case, it's not a live reaction. It's a just up stream, not reaction, but read. What would you call that? Just watching it, reading it?
Yeah, it's basically a matter of me trying to decide what I want to do as far as chapter reviews go, at least for a while now. I've kind of already decided, because if these hypothetical spoilers are true, it does cement my decision. I will say that.
So, Colin, for the record, when I wrote this first message here, I'll say that I knew both sides of it going into it. So your very next message of, well, I already knew that you knew both sides of it as well.
So the next message is, well.
And from what I've seen, people are not jiving with this current arc anymore.
Now,
debatably this month, based on vague spoiler, I hope is wrong. Oh, interesting.
I think this is actually a good idea for us not to see any raw scans of the spoilers before the chapter releases, which I thought they were going to do on the 14th. They usually always do it like days before the release, but we haven't got any leaks or any spoilers of the chapter. But I'm actually glad that that didn't happen, because I kind of want to be able to, enjoy the release of the chapter on the day it's coming out without having to see anything that happens beforehand. Not saying
The
that
sneak peek already kind of ruins that.
the sneak peek really, in a way, the sneak peek kind of just gives you an idea of what the chapter is going to be about. Well, what's going to happen in the chapter. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't really ruin it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. It is just a random page.
Yeah, it is a random page, so it doesn't.
Last month it was the cover page. That didn't tell you anything about the chapter.
Yeah, they
for
did.
Example, the chapter, like I think it was 8, a spoiler panel was Hidari in the library asking where Naruto is. Like that was not what the chapter was about.
No, but it's just like I said, it's a.
Jura was in the library.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's just a random page, and I think it's just to kind of subvert expectations, sort of.
Depending on
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it raises expectations and the worst way possible.
But I'm not gonna lie, if they are just pulling random pages, I wish it was at least a little bit more specific. So, for example, the one with Jura in the library, that was practically the only page of Jura that month. It just showed like the entire Jura story of the month. That's not a sneak peek. That's just the entire C story, essentially. Like, I wish they just showed like the A story that's going to get the majority of the screen time, just a page from that. Instead of
I don't know how they
stuff that's barely there anyways. But anyway, by the way, keep out an eye for Ace in case he's waiting patiently in the audience. I don't know if he's been there for 10 minutes or 0 minutes or if he's not there yet. But that's something to be aware of. Anyways, so I said I heard murmurs about what I'm assuming it is. So that is the other end of it, assuming it is legit. Okay, Ace is typing, so I'm assuming he is here.
Is it because of
the
for this chapter, or do you mean in general? So wait.
I wonder what Ace thinks about that.
Greetings, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hey, so when did you forsake yourself?
Look, I was only here for a couple of minutes waiting. No big deal.
Well, it could have been worse.
True, and also, personally, me, I'm a big fan of them showing kind of like the B or C story versus the main panels. I don't want to just get a taste of the main course. I'd rather have an appetizer and then get to enjoy the full course when I finally get it. If you just give me a part of it, then I'm going to be annoyed that I don't have the full thing. And if you show me the side story, then I might actually pay attention to it instead of just skipping through it to find out what's happening with the real big story.
So, whereas I understand that, using this analogy, it's like if they're giving you the entire appetizer as opposed to just a small bit of the main meal.
Yeah.
That's the way I generally prefer my meals. I'll take an appetizer that I can chew on a bit, decide if it's anything important I care about, if it might mean something even bigger down the road. And then by the time I'm done with that, I get the main course to fully enjoy.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I will say. Maybe the food analogy isn't the best, since I think that's just how restaurants do it anyways, but don't do that. The problem that I run into is that once we get to it in the chapter itself, it's almost recap at that point, because that's standing on its own as it is, as opposed to if it was like main story, then you get stuff both before it and after it. So when you're rereading this page you've already read, it's not coming across as like a rewatch or recap. It's connecting those ideas almost from a fresh new perspective for the first time.
I can see that.
It does depend on like the specific situation, because in this Jura case, it was the only Jura panel, whereas it's not typically the case. It's kind of an extreme example.
Yeah.
Almost it ruins the chapter once we get to it at that point.
For the 2 sneak peeks we got, there's not really much to go off of based off those sneak peeks, other than us.
Second one.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to really spoil anything. You'll know once we read the text spoilers, but that's just about it, I think.
Okay.
So,
for the record, Ace, only Immortal here has read the Boruto Chapter 20 spoilers. And me and Conway are not going to want to do that. So if that's something that
No.
have you done that, first of all?
I have not read the chapter 20 spoilers. I've been a bit busy, so I've been waiting.
Okay, do you usually read spoilers?
I'm a person who's not bothered by spoilers. I can enjoy something the same way with or without the spoiler, because I can somehow differentiate it in my mind that if I didn't know about this in advance, this is how I would feel about it.
I got you. Okay, well, just for a quick shout out to Kamui here, he's just gonna call me a lie and nonsense maker here that's pulling a 180 out of my butt on this one. But I would agree with Ace, because for me, something like, oh, the masked man is Obito, or oh, Kaguya is the final villain, blah blah blah. I technically knew that going into it, but I didn't care at all, because for me it was entirely about the execution of what they did with it and how they did it, rather than that as a concept on its own.
I would just agree with that, yeah.
Well, Conway, I say that because of our rewrite debate debacle.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, I still agree with what you just said. Okay, that's why I've been pretty like whatever with the spoilers as well. I used to read them all.
Mhm.
I just like to see the images. So if it's text only, I just don't want to see it. I just don't want to do that. But if it's going to show images, I always used to look. And it never really impacted me too much. Plus, in this case, we get to rant about how we hope something's not true.
I love that. I think the best perspective to look at this angle from is the difference between the audience and the creator. And I think video games would be the best analogy for this. So if you're playing a game, you're experiencing the experience. You're watching the script as it plays out in the intended way, hopefully. Whereas the game maker, they're not thinking about the scripted cutscenes. They're thinking about making the base game operate correctly. And then they're going to put in the ambiance lighting and music and all of that afterwards to create that experience. So it's like the backwards way of viewing it. And then as a fan, if you enjoyed that experience, like Conway, for us, let's say Poppy Playtime, we did that recently. So we might then, because we enjoyed it, we might then go to like look at director's commentary on the game to see how it was built or whatever, etc., etc. Yeah. Whereas for the creators, they would technically start at that director's commentary and then work to the experience. So it's almost reverse engineering it in a sense.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it. Okay, anyways.
Good take.
Okay, go ahead. Someone? Hello?
So
I thought someone was saying something.
I was gonna say, you want to get started in the spoilers?
Well, technically, we haven't finished reading the chat messages.
So I heard murmurs about what I'm assuming it is, so that's the other end of it, assuming it is legit.
I said, is it because of something you saw for this particular chapter, or do you just mean in general?
So wait. And so every single message that comes in, I'm already typing and already knowing what every individual message means, especially after the previous message. Exactly. So we are both clearly dancing around the fact of what it is, because we both know what it is, but you don't want to spoil me. And just in case it's not what you're referencing, I don't want to say it.
And we're still dancing around it, because we're going to stall for like 20 minutes before saying it.
No, we'll get to it. I mean, people don't like this current arc and want to end ASAP, so we can get to something new in reference to like the next arc. By the way, Ace, Immortal, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Because this seems to be the general community sentiment, but maybe you guys would have a different idea. Do you like this love arc in the sand, or do you want whatever comes next?
Well, for me, I'm always a big fan. As a creative writer and storyteller, for me, it's not about the destination, it's always about the journey. I don't mind having this moments, because to me, it humanizes and makes and kind of personalizes the struggle that they're dealing with a little bit more for some more side characters, and helps flesh them out a little bit. Because Kanahamaru has been kind of mid basically all throughout Boruto, from being a little odd to being a little unusual in his determinations. And it's like, weren't you the guy who was supposed to be like the Eighth Hokage? Weren't you like the kid that we liked that fought Naruto back in the day? When did you become a corporate shield all of a sudden? So seeing him try to work through some of those emotions with an old friend, I'm kind of okay with that, as long as that leads to something kind of down the line, if that makes sense. I don't need it to be big fireworks right now, as long as later on that has an emotional payoff and it wasn't just a filler of time until they got to the next big thing.
Okay. For me, I think I prefer the current story over the previous arc, which a lot of people would say is blasphemy. I think the reason is because... Okay, so
continue on this pretty good.
Okay, good. So for me, the previous arc had, technically, if you want to say higher highs, sure, but it definitely had infinitely lower lows. This arc, in comparison, whereas it has its flips and its flops here and there, its woozies and its doozies, it's like a more consistent 6 out of 10 instead of a 2 out of 10 compared to a 7 out of 10 range.
I can agree with that.
Do you have more to say, or are you done your part?
I was going to let you do your bit, and then I was going to say more. But
so there's kind of two main things I want to say for that. So the first is the kind of funny but objectively true. No, I don't want this arc to end ASAP. Do you know why? Because they pulled that shit in the prophecy arc and the Hidari Invasion arc. What are my two biggest complaints, realistically? The end of the prophecy arc and the end of the Duran Hidari Invasion arc. No, I don't want that over. That's the first one. I know what happens with the rushed ending, and it's fast. I don't want that. Second, bring this to the previous arc. It has... I don't want to say the other arc didn't have story, because it did. But this arc has infinitely, not just more story, but more seamless story. So, obviously, the main story stuff that the last arc did do that I thought was pretty decent is basically Dura's observations of Team 10, the whole like, oh, let's surpassing their instincts, blah, 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 and it's pretty important, blah, blah, blah. And then he learns in this arc, it's probably love. What is this arc about? Love. What are we seeing? How various characters are influenced by love. Mostly irrationally in this arc so far, but it can go in any which way. The point is, though, it's connecting the previous arc's ideas and expanding upon it, and it's much more seamless. Jura's conversation about love juxtaposed with Matsuri and Konohamaru's bullshit. It was actually a pretty good idea. Like I said, it was good. I want them to continue doing the only thing they have been doing. There's that perspective. I also want, this is kind of going back to the previous point, but I don't want a random conclusion to where Konohamaru somehow bullshit gets its way out of being devoured. We've gone this far. I want Konohamaru's flaw to bite him in the ass, he gets devoured. And I want to see what happens when Matsuri devours him. That's continuing these story points about the love and the whole devouring a target nonsense. Like, we need to continue that. Let's not pull another previous arc when Jura just doesn't devour Hibari because he doesn't want to. Let's actually do it. Continue that. Lastly, as in much of plot action as Ryu has had in this arc, they haven't actually done anything with him as a character. I want something. I don't want him to just be there. I want to do something with him. So I need the arc to continue in order to do that. So if they just randomly end it, that means you're not going to get anything with Ryu. I'd rather not do that. I want to, if he's going to be here in the action, let's do something with him. All these things require the arc to continue for a while longer. So that's what I want.
Yeah. Immortal, do you have any thoughts on that?
For this arc, I really do. I agree with Ace on the fact that this arc is humanizing the Shinjus, and also Jorah's complete goal of trying to get rid of, love, since it hinders their evolution.
Yeah,
I
completely agree.
I also do see how love can make people do irrational things. One thing for certain was when Yodo was trying to immediately go for the Thorn Soul and Ryu already caught wind to this because that's exactly what they want to bring Shinki back. And lots of other things in this arc, especially well, yeah. I was about to say something about tech spoilers, but I was trying not to I was trying not to.
Back to the original
I was about to say
the
something.
question is, would you prefer that this arc ends ASAP, so like 1 to 2 chapters from now, or would you prefer it goes on a while longer?
I want me personally. I see this. I don't see this arc going on for too long. I want it to keep going, so that way we can, see where this arc will lead towards. Because, from what I've seen from the spoilers, there's a lot to look forward to. But
which chapter did Ryu do the Yodo trick on? Was it chapter 17?
I think it was chapter 8. I think it was chapter 17, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see.
Because realistically, based on what we've seen, the midpoint of this arc is going to be when Ryu turns on them and Matsuri turns on Konohamaru. Okay, it looks like chapter 18.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, chapter 18.
That could just be the first confrontation.
Yeah, I'll say that can kind of just be it depends. If they were making this a long major arc, then I would see that as just the first one. But I think it's going to be one of those where it's tension, then it's combat as conflict happens, and then it's going to have a resolution that rolls into a much bigger arc afterwards. So I think that 19 is kind of the midpoint. Honestly, I don't see it going more than another 2 chapters of battle at best, of just from the way that they introduce certain things. Like Amaya has a blade that literally counters what Ryu does, which cool, they put that in there, but to me that gives a heavy advantage to your team. That's okay, so the hero should win this battle because you directly counter. It's like having Pikachu against a Squirtle. I should win this battle 9 out of 9 times every single time. If I lose, it's because we messed up. Now on the opposite side, I think Konohamaru, who again, I don't know. You know what? I think my issue with Konohamaru is I had too many high expectations for him. I expected somebody like him to be at the Jonin level of what we saw in Naruto Shippuden, of like a Kakashi, of even being a Sarutobi, of being cool and suave and confident and capable in every situation. And he can't handle talking to the reincarnation of his friend and is fumbling the bag in a way that guys who don't know how to talk to women do. And it is frustrating because you're like a grown man who has one job. Your one job is to keep her distracted. Whatever she says, you just agree with it. And you are struggling with even keeping her happy, just letting her call you a nickname. Call the nickname. Call me Kamaramu-chan all you want. Why would you call that as a line in the sand and then make her get jealous about the other person she used to be? Because that's ever gone well in any relationship in all of history between men and women, is bringing up the idea of another woman.
This is why I wanted to get devoured, because besides the hilarious, terrible job he's doing on this mission, it does work as his character flaw with the whole irrational side of love aspect. And if they're already doing it, let's just go all the way with it. So getting back to like midpoint first encounter stuff, it's theoretically possible that yes, this was just the first encounter. Konohamaru getting devoured in like chapter 20 or 21 could also work as a midpoint. However, so I just gonna say this. It's a theoretical spoiler that we're still dancing around for the moment. But if that spoiler is true, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not saying it's impossible, because it's a terrible idea to do in this arc in the first place. But if they're gonna do it in this arc, that does feel like a, post midpoint third act type thing that you might do. Generally, not just randomly in the first encounter for
we'll get reason. To it.
Like,
what I will say,
very odd. And I will say, if the midpoint is chapter 18, that will be 5 chapters for a 10 chapter long arc. That's pretty consistent with Ikimoto, so that does feel normal for him.
So correct me if I'm wrong, first of all, I don't think he's ever done a fight that's lasted more than 3 chapters. The Boro fight was 3 chapters.
Or in general?
In general. Like the Boruto
Only-
fight was 3 chapters. So Naruto and Sasuke versus Ishiki might have been 4, but I think that
Yes.
4th might have been
But that's
Momoshiki.
including like Marion mode and stuff.
Mhm.
In
Now, yes.
that case, that doesn't necessarily change it for me.
Yeah, the Boruto fight, I think, is the longest just straight up fight, I think.
Okay.
Or the Delta
I-
fight's also like 3 chapters as well. But
I obviously don't see this fight lasting another 2 chapters. I think it's probably going to end by the end of this
yeah, 'cause
chapter.
especially in Two Blue
Next chapter.
Vortex. Two Blue Vortex has had a history of a third of a chapter long fights. They're like, this is already insane by their standards.
So,
And it
so
took,
if
what,
it's
2
gonna
chapters?
be if it's gonna be 2 chapters, it's because they continuously keep cutting back to the Shinju or Boruto or Kawaki and Amado and Sumire and Akabe or Matsuri and Konohamaru. Like we have 5 different things we're looking at all at the
That's
same
actually a
time.
good point.
So that could be
Because
the reason that they slow down.
Yeah, they
fight
do
has
what
only
anime
been-
do best is they fluff it out with, oh, we're going to cut to Amado for 3 pages, so we can then come back to the fight in 4 pages.
Yeah, because
There
like
you go.
technically speaking, this fight starts in chapter 18. I'm gonna figure out exactly when here. Pretty late in the
Yeah.
chapter, it looks like. So actually,
Yeah, I
it's
was
like
gonna
the end of chapter. This fight's realistically been 1 chapter long. It's already been interrupted 50,000. Oh yeah, this fight starts at the very end of chapter 18. So it's been 1
Yeah.
chapter with interruptions.
Keep in mind, these are scenes that are going on at the same time that are separate from this. I'm not even counting flashbacks, like Yodo's flashback with Shinki. Or, I mean, I guess it was Arai's flashback. He did
Arai's,
the
yeah.
Arai's flashback with Shinki. Or Konohamaru's flashback talking to Shikamaru about the mission. I'm just not counting these. I'm sure we'll get a Sarada flashback at some point.
But you
Maybe
gotta
we
have
do
a
as well.
Maya's flashback, otherwise, all of a sudden his
No, I'm not saying it's
lodestone
bad.
sand ceiling blade doesn't do it. That's
Yeah,
general
I agree. That was
Boruto
good.
Naruto flashback in battle. It's like cool. This new thing that I never told you about I can do. I'm gonna do it right now when I need to be able to do it. Cool.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Oh, I've been had this forever for this. Oh, that's extremely convenient that he gave you a way to counter everything that he could possibly do. Makes logical sense. Now I need to see that actually pay off in the actual story. Cool. I need you to do that because if he fails, like if the Squirtle beats Pikachu, I'm going to be mad because that shouldn't happen. You're gonna need to give me
Well.
another reason. Like I'm gonna need the other Shinju to pull up. I'm gonna need something to happen to counter this heavy counter that you already have somehow.
Well, too late for
Oh, wait.
that.
Yeah,
Ryu
'cause,
countered it himself.
Yeah.
True, he
Well,
counters
now-
it, but what I mean is I need
Well, yeah.
more to that because I imagine there's always the move, then there's the counter move, then I see that they're gonna do the counter move. So I'm waiting I'm gonna need that to continue to snowball over that they're winning, and then something has to pull Ryu out of it at the end all the way.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the second lodestone Sensei.
I was
That
gonna say Ryu kind of just like overwhelmed them by just like bringing Claw Grimes out.
Mhm.
And
Claw Grime, that Team Eater Shikacho can handle it down.
Yeah, but I don't think the point was to try to. Well, I think it was more so strength in numbers for Ryu, but it's not like he needs them anyways because we all know that
Well,
they can take
see, my
out the
problem
Claw
with
Grimes.
Just
the numbers.
really pour out.
My problem with the strength in numbers is not only have they never established how many Claw Grimes there are or are left, but like strength in numbers, my ass, bro. We've been there, done that with the White Zetsu, and you know what happened to them? They just like Hitsuchi. You guys don't even know who that is. None of you remember who Hitsuchi is. He just one shot like 50,000 in one jutsu. Strength in numbers, my ass, bro.
Yeah, listen, I think what he was using for the claw grinds for was kind of like to, I would say, distract. Would you say distract them in order to like
I would say
get the blade away from
actually,
him?
no, look, I'm not
the way
going to
I would think
spoil,
of it is,
but if Mitsuki things are true, this is all because Mitsuki just didn't feel like trying.
yeah. Well, the way I would say it is this: when he pulled out the Claw Grimes, it was less. From a D&D standpoint, it was a 5v1, which means for every one thing he could do, they could all do a thing. So he's just going to eventually get overwhelmed. It was a way to kind of balance the battlefield that they have other things to worry about, so they can't just all focus on him. And it gives him a better chance to kind of even the battlefield. Not that he expects the Claw Grimes to win, because they're basically putties from Power Rangers at this point. He just needs them to not all use all of their special moves on him at the same time in concert, so that way he can actually do anything and stand a fighting chance. Because otherwise, if it was just the regular 5v1 and he doesn't have the claw grinds, this doesn't go past the end of the chapter. They are power-wise, they could have the powers to overwhelm him as they already did before. So they needed something to balance it out where they don't just pull out all their special ninjutsu at once and blow him away halfway across the desert.
You know what you should have done? Okay, he should have been like 5v1. That's not fair. Pulls up 25 claw grind, has them each 5v1 each character, and be like, now let's do a 5v1 against you. Like,
he cannot. He isn't cool enough to pull off moderate stuff. Okay, Jura, I will give that to. He does not get to pull off moderate level moves and quotes. He's not that cool yet. Okay. I give him credit for being a trap with his bomb.
He would have been that cool if he did it.
Low key, Conway, I think that unironically works better for Ryu than it does for Madara in general. If we had to choose one person to give it to, it would have been Ryu, not Madara.
Ryu
so,
because see, Madara did it as trolling, knowing that I don't need to do this anyway. But I find it ironic and funny. For Ryu, I don't think that the irony would hit for him because he's not a cerebral character in that way. He's the character. If he was a D&D character, he has a high wisdom stat because he can understand things when it happens. Like, cool, she clearly hates me. I'm going to bait them into attacking me versus being smart enough to make a full plan out. Because had he been smart enough, he'd have planned to have the claw grinds out automatically because he'd have understood the 5v1 wasn't going to go in his favor right away. So I give him credit, but I wouldn't give him a cool quote like that. I could see him doing that and be like, oh, figuring out later, like, cool, 25 of these seems to be about enough to stop you guys. That I could give him. I can't give him. He would just be like, I'm a 5v1 because y'all 5v1, and that's just fair. That
would be cool, but it wouldn't be a cool
It would be
quote.
funny.
It's not the quote that would be cool. Exactly, it would be funny. Because it's the exact goofy, dumb thing that Ryu would actually realize and then say and then do. It just works perfect for him.
He would have a point.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
I mean, the
like,
other
I can
thing is,
see it,
generally his strategy is great. I liked it. They could have just made it a high, like the quote idea is mostly a joke, but it's adding a layer of oomph to really sell you on the strategy so that you're like, oh, I love this, versus, oh, that's kind of cool. So in the other options you could do is he doesn't have to be like Shikamaru, but have some internal dialogue about exactly how he's doing his plan, just to add that like layer of fun to it. Now I know someone like Jonathan Oliver is going to say, oh, you're being too super subtle, blah blah blah, but the point isn't that we can't understand the strategy. It's fucking obvious. The point is to make the strategy fun so that you're like, let's go. Stupid example is freaking Light Yagami versus L in a tennis match where they're freaking thinking about every little detail about how they're swinging their tennis rackets and stuff. It's just a simple tennis match, but yet they made their tennis match the most strategic, fun to watch thing ever, despite all them doing is just swinging a tennis racket. Stuff like that goes a long ways.
It's not trying to take itself seriously, but in doing so, it comes across as serious because when you watch that, you understand it's goofy, but you're rooting for it. You're actually rooting for it, not like a sarcastic rooting for it. But then things such as, and I know that not everyone's going to agree with me, but like things such as Attack on Titan, whenever they try and do a concept like this, it just comes across as cheesy to me. I just roll my eyes. I'm taken out of it. I'm just annoyed. I don't. You know what? It's more impactful if I don't list an example. Attack on Titan, the series, is my example.
No, if it doesn't work though, because then I can't actually like relate, agree or disagree, because I don't know like what you're referring to and what you have.
Well, the problem is if I say anything, you're going to then say something about that scene, and we're going to go down a 20-minute tirade. So rather not.
Okay, can you? But I want to know.
Okay, well,
the best way that I can say it is I can understand the idea and the concept behind it. It's like, cool, that would be a thing, but to me, it feels, to use something of adjacent thing, it feels very much like how the Thor movie series was for me. I was a person who liked the more serious movies of Thor 1 and 2. Yeah, even I liked Dark World compared to everybody who hated, but I liked the more serious side of the acting mixed with mythological stuff. Thor 3 and 4 were so goofy to me that it was hard for me to want to continue to watch it. Because yes, while it has moments that I would laugh at, it had moments that I enjoyed. What I remember the most about it was a lot of corniness that I was like, we didn't need to have this joke here in order to get through the scene. This is a joke that was inserted to try to add more levity to a scene that didn't need to be having more levity to begin with. You don't need a joke every 3 minutes in order to make people feel like, oh, this is fun and upbeat and things are happy. Some things lose their weight when you add the corniness to it. So to me, certain corny things, which I can agree with that about the idea of Attack on Titan, certain times when they went with the corny ideas, some stuff, it doesn't lead the same precedence of the times when they stayed locked in with the moments and they carried much heavier weight with it overall. Yeah. So I can agree with that idea that it doesn't, I don't mind comedy, but like anything, just like I don't want heavy drama through the entire chapter, but I also don't want comedy through the whole chapter. I want it where it seems to be appropriate for the moment. Like if they crack a joke in the middle of fighting Ryu, that's gonna annoy the hell out of me. But if Konohamaru is trying to appeal to, God, I can never remember her Shinju name. I always call him a leggy shit. Matsuri. He tries to appeal to Matsuri's love or emotions or whatever you can to try to keep her confused. That's an interesting line I want to see, because I want to know how does Shinju emotionally respond, because Shinju are seeming to be less purely logical and more emotionally driven in their actions. And I want to see if that develops into, it's almost like watching somebody develop an AI. At first, it seems very logical. It's very point A to point B. But then it starts getting, well, I want to know about D and E. What about F? Why was the letter F around? Instead of just going on to G, H, and I and going down the alphabet, they become more interested in the journey they're taking versus just getting to the destination as fast as possible. So I want to see if that's something that actually does develop, or they continue to develop their own personalities, or if they just immediately snap back out of it and like, it was cool for a couple of chapters, but we're going to go away from that again, which happens in anime at times. So I'm hoping to see that continue, which is why I want to see another. Honestly, I don't see it going past another chapter total, but could go another 2 chapters of the endings of all the fights and their escalations to the resolution, that then the resolution rolls into whatever else they're going to be doing with, because eventually going to have to catch up with everybody else that we've been trying to catch up with and have their things resolved.
Well, what I said earlier about the flashbacks wasn't a critique. It was me just saying that usually with other fights, such as the Boro fight, they had like no other scenes they're following at the same time. They might have cut to like Shikamaru once, but aside from that, it's strictly following
the Boro
the
fight
A
is one of
story
the most
with flashbacks.
Fights in the series.
Yeah, like flashbacks are not just expected. At this point, they're just gonna be there in general, regardless of expectations. But even something like Ishiki Baryon mode fight, you're cutting between that and the Kawaki stuff, A and B. With this, there's 4 other things going on at the same time, on top of the flashbacks that are already gonna be there. And so you're having 5 different things, with flashbacks being a 6th thing, as opposed to like the Boro fight where there's only 2 things, the fight itself and flashbacks.
I agree with that. Like personally, to me, if the Kawaki stuff
has flashbacks,
if the Kawaki stuff doesn't directly impact this battle that's going on, it's something that could have been said after the battle. I didn't need to know about what Kawaki was doing right at this moment. If Kawaki doesn't pop up out of the blue somehow to intervene in this fight with his new power scaling and help out, then cool. That could have been a chapter 21 thing, chapter 22 thing. Like, hey, during this fight, this happened. And then we move on to whatever we're doing. Because I don't need I think altogether it's going to be like 6 pages of Kawaki dealing with Amado and all that. That could have been its own thing in any other chapter other than being interspersed between an actually fairly intense fight of seeing whether or not anybody other than Boruto can actually handle Shinju in any way, shape, or form competently, because they seem to be struggling a lot for something that they technically should have had planned from the beginning, and they seem to not be able to go from point A to point B without completely dropping the ball.
Well, actually,
so I'll go even
Kawaki,
well, I
don't know what's going to be the better follow-up, but
mine was more direct than yours, I think. Yours was about Kawaki, but it was about the concept.
It was going to be about Kawaki and the length of this arc. So whatever fits better, I guess.
first. I think it more directly addresses this thing. So, even going based off of what they said, going even further than that, why do we need to see Kawaki doing this now? Even hypothetically, with what Ace was saying, even if Kawaki doing this now does somehow affect or impact this current fight, regardless of how, if he freaking flies over here and one-shots Matsuri in the craziest panel of all time, whatever. Even if they do that, I think it would be better for the sake of the story, for the impact, for it to be a surprise to us by just showing us that and then getting flashbacks to Kawaki doing that, rather than seeing us the lead up to Kawaki doing it. A similar example to this would be Madara going to Obito after defeating the 5 Kage, and then Naruto asking, what happened over there? And Madara saying, I guess they're not doing too well. Then we get those flashbacks. To be fair, I think we already saw the full Susanoo at that point, but my point is we never saw the 5 Kage actually defeated. It's a similar concept at least.
Okay, so I guess yours is better. So mine's not going to address that aspect, but speaking of Kawaki, so depending on how, so assuming Kawaki does get involved in some manner, that's definitely going to help extend the length of this arc. Because, like I said, if you want to go for the short end of this, the midpoint, the earliest midpoint realistically would be when the plan fails and now they're fighting the Shinju earlier than expected, essentially. That's like the earliest midpoint you can work with. If that's the case, that's 5 chapters. That means we've only had 1 chapter after that. So 4 more chapters to go, including chapter 20. If we're thinking this fight's going to end in chapter 20 or 21, guess what? We've got another like 3 chapters to go still.
So I don't think that works.
With that in
mind,
that's
why I do have
Kawaki's impact would help extend things. So what does that mean he's gonna do? Who knows? He might show up, he might piss Jura off, he might just go straight to Jura, he might fight Code, who knows? But the point is, Kawaki could do something to extend this arc, in which case that would add value to him, like doing the Yamato stuff in this arc as opposed to the next arc. But it's entirely dependent on whether he does something, because if he doesn't do anything, bro, that could have been safe for the next arc. He could have spent this arc, just a couple of scenes really, thinking about it, struggling with whether or not he wants to listen to Boruto, whether or not he wants to go to Amino again, but he just cut to it. So because they've done that, it's almost like at this point, do something with it, please, no matter how little, because otherwise I'm asking, why did you do this now and why didn't you do something else?
Yeah. So I definitely do give this fight maybe about 2 more chapters, but like how we're saying, based on the length of this arc, it's going to be at least 4 more chapters probably. So based on that,
again,
what I do think,
I don't think Kawaki can get involved with Ryu and Matsuri, just because if the spoilers are true, that's just not only does it seem like they might just have Ryu in the bag, but we'll get to it eventually. But if they don't have Ryu in the bag,
sorry about that.
Man, who the fuck cares about the shit that's in the spoilers? Like, if you're gonna do that shit, at least do it.
Well, I do want to say something. So looking back, in reference to this current arc and how long it's going to be, if we look back to the previous arc, something that I think is hilarious. Kyle, you're probably going to agree with me. Ace Immortal, maybe you guys won't. But, so you guys have heard of a setup chapter, right? No one really likes them because it's just setup, you know? It's building to something else. So, the previous thing in the story wasn't a setup chapter. It was a setup arc. The whole arc. I'm just going to consider that setup for this in future events because it just never had payoff. I'm worried that this arc might be the same based on Jura shenanigans, though. I don't think we're going to get paid off this arc, but that's more understandable and acceptable for me. But last arc, would you at least agree it was a setup arc in its entirety?
Yes, because well, I mean, like that. Okay, in order to really sell this idea, we have to slightly be mean about it. But like, what was paid off in terms of the Shinju? Well, nothing. All that happened is Jura began to develop a theory about love, humanity, and stuff like that. He doesn't even reach the conclusion until this arc, so it's only set up in that regard. Jura capturing his target, no, he didn't do it, so nothing paid off there. He only set up the fact that he's fickle as hell with his targets. He switches it on the daily. Hidari only presented, who are you, Sarada? Got no answer. Was defeated before he could get an answer. Was defeated before he could be able to devour her, so no payoff there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Okay, Hambawari, I don't even know what to say about her. only introduced things. Nothing was paid off there either.
Exactly.
Boruto himself, I mean, yeah, nothing was paid off. I mean, there was room for some payoffs, but the arc ended when it did. So yeah, it was a set-up arc. It set up this arc. It's almost as if that just was the first half of this arc, even though it's objectively not the case. But
Yeah.
Actually, if I can get a quick minute, I'd like to address both those ideas. Like, firstly, the idea about the flashbacks and everything like that, because we know with Boruto, we get flashbacks in battles. That's always happening. That's why I would rather them save the idea of anything for Kawaki if he's not immediately involved in this. If he's involved in it, then I want to see that up front. So when we get to the action, I don't want to spend time on the flashback once the action happens. I want to see the action resolve in as linear of a fashion as possible. And that's already knowing we're getting flashbacks on top of the actual flashback of whatever the new thing you can do thing is. Seeing that we've already had that in a battle like this with Amaya, I don't want to also have to do the same thing with Kawaki if it wasn't actually needed. So that's why I would say if it's not directly impacting the actual fight that we're interspersing it with, then it can either be before or after. Either way you want to put it, I don't care where it goes. If it's not a part of the fight, then I don't want to know about it till it's not a part of the fight, because to me that takes away from the fight that should be, for shonen especially, the main part of what you're trying to showcase here. The other idea, though, that was a lot. The other idea about setups, I don't mind the idea of setups as long as those setups still have a payoff later on. If you spend time, for me, I was a big fan of My Hero Academia season 4 and 5 because it set up what you get in 6, 7, and 8. You don't get 6, 7, and 8 if you don't have the time spent with, well, you can, but it doesn't have the impact for me without 4 and 5, because things that they do in 6, 7, 8 are directly the things you saw them learning about in 4 and 5, which now makes sense of why they've been doing that on top of other things. So for me, if you have setup, that's cool, but you then need to be able to pay off that setup, because otherwise you've invested time of your reader and you haven't given them any type of payoff or resolution for the investment you asked them for. So you can set up a bunch with the last chapter they did, but if they don't run down those lists of questions at some point in the near future or ever, then it's going to be another pointless reason of what was the point of you giving us that other than just filling time. If you're going to give us a question, there better be an answer to it at some point that you get. Even if you allude to an answer, I'll take that at some times. But at some point, you better come up with an answer of why you did A so we can get to B and C.
Yeah. I agree with both of those. I can respond to both of those at the same time. First, I'll give Immortal a chance to speak. I think he hasn't spoken in a while. If he has something to say, the opportunity.
Now, truth be told, this arc, actually, no, I don't actually have anything to say for right now. I was just
okay.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it. Okay. So back to my thinking for Ace. Okay. So responding to both of those at the same time, I agree, but with a caveat. So what you're saying about Kawaki, that if he is going to be involved, that I want to see. The problem is we don't know if he will. So the question we're asking is, will this be relevant, rather than what makes setup good as opposed to this. Dragon Ball does this a lot with Goku arriving, especially in Z. It's about, will they get there in time? I forget the exact terminology for this. I don't think it's a ticking clock, because it's about the anticipation, the suspense of, will they get there before it's too late, or will they get there just in the nick of time, or etc. etc. But it's all about, like, on Namek, will Goku get there to stop Frieza before Frieza does all the bad things he's gonna do? Just as an example. The Kawaki stuff isn't building towards that, so I would hate to call it good setup, and I feel like season 4 and 5 of My Hero are made retroactively good by the war arc. But when I was actively watching season 4 and 5, it wasn't as good to me, because there wasn't a clear direction it was building towards in that regard, which is, I think, what makes build up the most important thing of what makes it good. But that's all I had to say on that.
I can understand that. I would say sometimes I don't need to know where the destination is if I trust what they've given so far. To me, by that point, My Hero had given me enough where I could trust that this was going to pay off because other things had already paid off at that point. But if I hadn't been paid off or committed at that point, then I could also see where having that would feel like it's spinning tires until something important happens. But for me, it worked the opposite way because I was confident and also loved the little details of what they did because it made the things they did later on more valid to me because it's like I saw the training, so to speak. So the anticipation for me was I knew that they were ready to deal with things like this, and I wanted to see how they would respond when it really happened. So for me, that was exciting in its own way, even over the big ending everything battles. But I can also see that if it didn't get you to buy in on that point of getting say, hey, if we set something up, it'll pay off. I can also get how that would feel that 4 and 5 were wasting time until you can get to what you really want.
Yeah. I think trust is definitely the biggest, most important word that you said there. That's very interesting. The idea of trusting the author, that they are going to pay off something that is currently directionless. You have no idea where it's going to go, but you're putting your faith into it. Therefore, you can care about it before knowing if you should care about it, which is interesting to me. I'm not going to say that's good or bad, because I completely agree with what you said, that you already had bought into My Hero, whereas I didn't really care. Based on what came before, so going into season 4 and 5, that would make sense. So I completely agree with everything you said there, just from like an archetypical audience member and how that would play out for the two different types of us, which would apply specifically to us in that regard. I think that would even apply to Naruto and Boruto in this regard, that I would have trust. But the problem with trust is that some things could be subversion, some things could be false guns, me and Kamwi's new favorite word, etc., etc. So trust is an interesting word. I trust for good stories to continue to be good because I like them, which is why I have that buy-in. I don't trust that everything's going to be paid off, which even in My Hero, there is intriguing stuff in season 4 and 5 that I would consider good build-up. I'm going to assume Hawks was in there doing stuff at that point. But stuff like Endeavor, not training, but completing missions with his with Bakugo or Shoto or Midoriya, whereas that did lead to good stuff in season 6, watching it in the moment I didn't care about in season 4 or 5 or wherever it was, probably season 5. But you get the idea.
Oh yeah. See, for me, I found that part important because technically they had to different things that they could do out of the main trio. They learned different skills from each other, which was kind of a bit of cross training they didn't plan on, that they didn't understand at the time they were doing and learning those things until, which it also culminated in the movie. But to then see them enact those things automatically without thinking about it, making it second nature, that's where the payoff came for me of seeing that combination. But at the time, I will say that it did feel a bit tedious because it's a training arc, and most times, if you've seen enough shonen at a certain point, training arcs are training arcs. There's not really anything new to invent the wheel with when you come to a training arc. And we've all seen Dragon Ball Z. We know training arcs can sometimes take forever. So I can get that. Knowing that it's a training arc setting up for something big can also deflate a little bit. It's like knowing movies are coming out and then, cool, I'm going to see these, but it's not the Avengers movie where they're all going to be in, or it's not Infinity and Endgame where there's going to be a big something happening. It's a smaller thing that's leading into the big thing. And if you know the big thing is right there, it's hard to not want that right away. So I can also understand that anticipation of, we'll skip the appetizer and go straight to the main course because it's a really good main course.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. I also think, which really comes down to the meat of the discussion, when things are shown are critical. So I'll go to my default jump here. So spoilers for the final season of Attack on Titan. Final season of Attack on Titan spoilers for anyone listening, just in case. Okay. So, Kama, you all probably already know where I'm going with this. When it comes to the rumbling, once Eren activates the rumbling, I want to see the rumbling. So, if you then proceed to show me Connie's mom or Yelena nonsense, or going to fight Flock for 3 episodes over a boat that I didn't even know they needed until they mentioned it after the rumbling had started. It's creating artificial problems to solve before they get to the thing that they promised me in the first place, which that's not just inflating the story, that's just overall bad. That's breaking your trust with your audience at that point, because I was on board. That first half of season 4, that last season 4B, whatever you want to call it, that was good. Leading up to the rumbling starting, I did not like it after that. So I think a very, very similar thing applies here with training arcs.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I think it's the same thing about the flashbacks and the training arcs. Like, if I need to know about Kawaki to bring it back around, cool, as long as it's impactful to the moment. If it doesn't, like if it's not impacting the rumbling that's about to happen, then whatever it is, it can happen after this. Let me see all the stuff that you've given me at this point. You've teased us with this whole idea of this, what eventually will be a 6-on-2 battle against the Shinju. Now that it started, now that they're like, oh, the jig is up, we're mad now, we're gonna fight. Give me what you've told me that I'm here for. Don't tell me, well, I know that you came here for the ribs, but we're out of ribs now. No, I want the ribs. I don't care where you got to go get ribs from. Go bring me some ribs right now. Because you told me I was getting the ribs.
Just because you mentioned it, and we can just clip this out for a video, about Connie's mom thinking Attack on Titan. So, whereas I understand why, like, Connie's, like, in a rush to do it now because the rumbling started, the biggest problem, besides what you just said, Udi, about the Connie going to his mom to feed Falco to his mom thing, is it completely makes the rumbling feel slow and like they're not in a rush because they're spending time doing Connie's bullshit instead of stopping the rumbling. Like, I don't even think they've talked about, they haven't even had the episode where they've got to like debate whether they're going to stop the rumbling with Commander McGath and all that jazz. Like, they haven't even gotten to that part yet. They're dealing with Connie's bullshit. That's making the rumbling feel like a who cares, essentially. Flock's a little bit different because that's in the moment of like, yo, like, Flock, we are gotta stop the rumbling and get out of here. Like, he's like actively getting in their way in an impactful way. Whereas Connie's mom, no, it's just making the rumbling look bad.
Flock is a little bit more understandable, but it's still a wall that they placed in front of you after starting the obstacle course. So it's because that Flock thing wasn't built up beforehand, in my opinion. You can argue Flock's character was, but this drama itself, the conflict was not. Because Aaron wasn't even across the sea yet.
There'd be pros and cons to doing this before and after, but as a hypothetical, you could have, not necessarily the exact same scene, but you could have put the premise of this Flock showdown being like the final obstacle before the rumbling, hypothetically, similar to how Flock messing up the boat is the reason Hanji's quote-unquote has to die.
Yeah,
no, she doesn't have to
exactly.
Die. You could have had Flock's actions be the reason why the rumbling happens in the first place. So
Okay, I'm just gonna take a small little break. I'm sorry, that's just like.
I'm sorry that I didn't hit you back when you call my line. Or did you even need to talk? Are you wasting time declining all your FaceTime calls? Cause you're not my vibe, but God just let me go to sleep. Someone get high with me. Yeah, cause I'm running away. I'm running away. I'm looking for space. Looking for space. I'm healing from all of the pain. I'm running away. Cause I feel lost right now, and it's hard to breathe. And I've lost myself. What happened to me? Cause you're not my vibe, but God just let me go to sleep. Someone get high with me. Yeah, cause I'm running away. I'm looking for space. I'm healing from all of the pain. I'm running away. Cause I feel lost right now, and it's hard to breathe. And I've lost myself. What happened to me? Cause I'm running away. I'm looking for space. I'm healing from all of the pain. I'm running away. Cause I feel lost right now, and it's hard to breathe. And I've lost myself. What happened to me? calls. Cause you're not my vibe, but God just let me go to sleep. Someone get high with me. Yeah, cause I'm running away. I'm looking for space. I'm healing from all of the pain. I'm running away. Cause I feel lost right now, and it's hard to breathe. And I've lost myself. What happened to me? Cause I'm running away. I'm looking for space. I'm healing from all of the pain. I'm running away. Cause I feel lost right now, and it's hard to breathe. And I've lost myself. What happened to me? To me. Yeah, cause I'm running away. I'm looking for space. I'm healing from all of the pain. I'm running away. Cause I feel lost right now, and it's hard to breathe. And I've lost myself. What happened to me? Cause I'm running away. I'm looking for space. I'm healing from all of the pain. I'm running away. Cause I feel lost right now, and it's hard to breathe. And I've lost myself. What happened to me? All you wasting time, declining all your FaceTime calls. Cause you're not my vibe, yeah, cause I'm running away. I'm looking for space. I'm healing from all of the pain. I'm running away. Cause I feel lost right now, and it's hard to breathe. And I've lost myself. What happened to me?
Those abilities to do it well. So yeah, I can imagine that an improv movie is probably painful because I don't think I could think of more than a handful of people that could improv that long.
To be fair, Conway, that one scene still stands out to me because of how well it was improv. You already know which one I'm talking about. The line where it's like the dude's like, still so good. It's like, no, you don't understand. I didn't just F your wife here. I effed her in every universe or whatever he said.
Yes, it's like I didn't just bang your wife in this timeline. I banged your wife in every timeline. Like instead of like there's two options. The character could have either used this as his way out of the argument to be like, just because your timeline did it doesn't mean I did it. But no, the guy just went for like the most ridiculous insult improv line.
Outrageously over the top.
It was the best line in the movie for sure.
Oh my god.
But anyway, real quick, completely random. But I love how Udi, just move your mouse but don't scroll. It says the Ace is playing Google Chrome.
Oh yeah, that's my
like
thing.
It's a game.
Well, see, that's just because in Discord you can't really share streaming things unless you have Google set up as it gets read like a video game. So Discord doesn't think it's a web browser that I have open; it thinks it's a video game that I'm sharing when I'm showing stuff.
That's fine.
So sometimes you need to circumvent some of the restrictions in a better way.
I love it.
Okay, one last random thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Speaking of JJK, Udi, we don't want to throw him under the bus directly, but a certain someone we know, I think they would love JJK. They probably do. In fact, I think they do. It's probably because of how many false guns it has.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say, you mean Mr. False Gun?
If you know, you know.
If you watch him, you know.
All right. Back to Boruto.
Well, there's
Nope, never mind.
3 other things I had to say based on previous conversations. The first one, again, we don't have to say in the Deadpool conversation, but I will say I did think the sacrifice towards the end was pretty cool. I did like that. It was a good scene, in my opinion, of that movie, the Deadpool Wolverine one. He was a little bit goofy after he made the choice, which takes away from him making the choice, in my opinion. But that's a Deadpool thing to do. Yeah, Deadpool being Deadpool. I liked him doing the sacrifice. That was really cool, in my opinion. Aside from that, the ending, not fight, but him versus like 100 Deadpools, that was also very cool. Though I hated the way that resolved. It just kind of didn't. But it was a cool concept. As much as parts of it were also pretty bad in execution, some parts of it were good. And that's the thing as well, is that people look at things overall when I think they should just break it up between both good and bad. So this movie can be both terrible and great for different reasons. Even Attack on Titan I wrote the sound podcast topics for us to do at some point. Ranking Attack on Titan based on its season finales and like what season finales are the best versus a different video entirely separate, which ones are the worst. And it's not going to be just an inverse list. You're going to have to break it down entirely different.
Yeah, you're going to have to look at the worst parts to see what has the most ruined thing or whatever. Did I just lose Wi-Fi? Oh, okay, never mind.
No, I was going to say, I agree with that. It had its moments that I enjoyed, but again, it's a movie that because I mean, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are two of my top like 5 actors. So seeing them together, great.
Mhm.
I'd have rather watch them talk about interviews about the movie than the actual movie itself.
I could have done without the dog for sure. That's something too.
Yeah, dog pool. I didn't even mind him putting his family into the actual extra pools. That's a cool Ryan Reynolds thing because he likes to have his family near and loves them dear and spends amazing time with his daughters. Cool. But movie wise, I feel like ChatGPT could have typed out a better Deadpool versus Wolverine movie than what ended up being the final thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Moving on from that though. So
Mhm.
would you I'll let Kamawi decide. Would you rather me talk on Konohamaru first or the Death Note tennis match scene first? I think I know your answer.
I think you should probably do the Death Note tennis match scene first, if I had to guess.
Of course, yeah, that's what I was expecting. Okay, so I think the difference, which is very important, is how you look at it going like backwards from like the writing standpoint. So the Death Note tennis match scene is good as opposed to cheesy, simply because it is a goofy concept at its foundation, which then you build the scene on top of, which is very similar to comedy anime do this a lot, especially parody comedy shonen, whatever you want to call it, such as One Punch Man or Mob Psycho or Marshall. And at this point, I think, Ace, you have definitely seen all of Marshall in case you didn't before, and we definitely talked about it previously. But either way, maybe you haven't. I don't assume you definitely did it before. But have you seen Marshall?
I've seen parts of Marshall. I haven't finished it just because of time constraints, but
Is that the
I've,
Haku character show?
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it enough.
Okay. That's you've probably seen enough to get my point there. Is that
Yeah.
even in its serious moments, it's being serious. And it's good because it's serious. But at its foundation, the base layer of this scene in specific, which is trickling down from the umbrella of the overall arc, I suppose you could say, is inherently absurd and ridiculous in a goofy way, but building the seriousness on top of it is good. Whereas I would say when it's done bad is when this is taking almost in reverse to where it's supposed to be serious and they want to treat it like it's serious, but it comes across as goofy or unserious in ways.
See, that happens with the Shinju a lot.
I would also say it happens in Attack on Titan a lot. For example, the music at the end of season 2 that I've commented on a couple times, the like preschool kids singing the
with the la.
yeah, I hate that. You already know.
I know, when we get to, I need to rewatch it just to really fully take in everything that's happening in that scene. But yeah.
I'm showing the flowers after the fight and all that, but like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, but that's just one of the things where you have to establish the tone for your actual of what you're doing. And so if you don't establish that tone, then it can come off as highly disingenuous. And it's like, I understand what you're going for, but you've never given us this, and the way you're doing it is presenting it like it's a joke and you want to be serious. That's not, it's like if a sitcom played a laugh track during a serious moment when actors are crying. Well, now I'm confused. Are we laughing about this, or is this supposed to have been actual real drama that was being dealt with, or something of that nature? And some anime kind of go off the rails that way.
Which that reminded me of something. Someone took iCarly and removed the laugh track, and it comes across so uncomfortable that you're laughing at it harder for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
It's not funny. It's
funny.
just weird.
Okay, now I want to watch that, but
especially with the long pauses where they removed the laugh tracks.
It's just silent.
So awkwardly bad. It's funny.
But the concern with the inverse situation is when, like, I mean, just basically saying the same thing in a different way. It leads you to be unsure of what you're supposed to think. So I don't know the
I
best
disagree.
scene to do with the Shinju, but I'm going to use the Shinju as my example because there are times I think Jiron might be our best example to where, yes, he is goofy. Same with Hidari. Like they are goofy, but there are some times where it makes you unsure. Are we supposed to be taking them seriously here? Or are we supposed to be like laughing at them because they're funny?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's clear, like for example, Hidari in the bookstore. Is he Naruto Uzumaki? We know he's just being goofy. Like it's not supposed to be overly serious in that specific moment. Even Jura is commenting on how funny it is. But there's other times where they're just saying something. You're like, wait, is this supposed to be a funny moment? Or am I just finding humor in something that shouldn't necessarily be so silly? Because now I'm unsure. Like, am I supposed to be taking this more seriously than I am? And if you're unsure, that can be a problem. Because if it's meant to be more serious and you're not taking it seriously, you're not getting the intended reaction you're supposed to get from the story, which means the story isn't being viewed properly, or vice versa, potentially.
And I'm never going to blame the audience member for that unless they're going into it in a disingenuous way in the first place. So, for example, Attack on Titan, you can say whatever, oh, I wanted to hate it. Going into Season 2, I didn't want to hate it. I thought Season 1 was overall decent. So, by the end of Season 2, that I think is very clearly intended to be serious. It's wanting to give you a certain type of vibe, and because I saw it in a different way naturally, that